Shovel Knight is getting more and more recognizable by the day. What once started as a hopeful Kickstarter campaign is now a much-loved IP with a collection of half a dozen games. I mean, Shovel Knight started as an indie darling and has grown so much in popularity it is now showing up in Smash Bros. These days. Shovel Knight's had its platforming games, a fighting game, a puzzle game, and now, Shovel Knight Dig is a shot at a roguelite. Don't let that word scare you off though. Shovel Knight's platforming roots are still the main attraction here. Shovel Knight Dig is developed by Nitrome and Yacht Club games and was first announced back in 2019. 3 years later, it's now available on the Nintendo Switch, where I played it, as well as Steam and Apple Arcade. So let's dig into it and see if I dig this new entry into the series, or if its legacy is better off buried. Shovel Knight Dig makes a great first impression once you gain control. Running and jumping feel smoother than ever, and the automatic shovel bouncing when falling is a great change that makes things just a little easier to control. The game is chock full of secret rooms and areas, some coming easily, and some needing some careful thought, or just straight up looking up a guide on how to accomplish them. It always felt like each room had its own little puzzle to solve and hidden areas or gems to find. The game, at its default settings, has a fair amount of challenge, but you can set this to your liking in the menu to make the game more fun to play for you. The basic gist of the game is digging down, going through a variety of different worlds, split up into 3 sections each. Between areas, you can often pick between 2 different themes to the level ahead, giving you some choice for the challenges you'll face. Worlds are separated by bosses that are as fun as ever, all feeling unique and worth fighting. Along the way, you'll find shops to help you out, selling upgrades, accessories, and different abilities. These shops often help make runs feel unique, changing the arsenal and survivability of Shovel Knight. It wouldn't be Shovel Knight without the feats menu, and they are just as fun as ever to pull off. Some simple, some very hard, some boss related, some testing your skills as a speedrunner, it's all there. Chasing these down adds some substance and replayability, but they are just for show, so to speak, not being required in any way to enjoy the game. Another cool thing included is the compendium, letting you look back at all the relics, accessories, and armors you have collected with descriptions for each. If there's one thing you can rely on a Shovel Knight game for, it is beautiful sprite work. Shovel Knight caught many people's eyes with its throwback 8-bit art style when it released in 2014, almost 10 years ago, and now in 2022, Shovel Knight Dig is treating us to a 16-bit art style. Some quick math for you, that's almost twice as many bits. Not only do the characters and environments look more detailed and colorful, but one of my favorite things is just how expressive Shovel Knight is with the animations. Looking up or down changes the way the helmet looks, making it look like the helmet itself is a face. The furrowed brow when digging downward is a great touch, and the running animation really adds some character to Shovel Knight. This added expressiveness carries to the other characters as well. Overall, a job well done here as expected. The new music is still very much Shovel Knight music, which I mean in the best way possible. The music feels familiar enough to where it could have always been included in other games, and you know what, a lot of it probably was, but that's not the point. I liked it a lot. Upbeat tunes match the feel of each stage, and unique boss music sets the stage for these great encounters. Most importantly, some of the best jingles from the other games are here, the victory fanfare being a favorite of mine. Another cool added detail I want to point out with the music is when you go into a side room or secret room, the music becomes much quieter and muffled. Giving the sense that you've moved away from the music. It almost kind of implies the music is really playing in the levels, in-game, so to speak. I like to imagine a bunch of little speakers throughout the levels that Shovel Knight is Bluetoothing music to get himself pumped up. Another great little touch to make the world have its own personality and charm. So I talked the game up a good amount there, and for good reason. The moment-to-moment gameplay is great, but that does not necessarily make the game a good roguelite in my opinion. This is personal opinion, but my favorite roguelites are ones that can feel like I'm making progress in each run, and Shovel Knight Dig does not fall in that category for me. Sure, you can buy new armor, which gives some slight variation to Shovel Knight's abilities and stats, but these feel more like different gameplay styles rather than progression of the character. In addition to armor, you can also use gems to unlock the ability for certain relics to appear on runs. But to be honest, I forgot to go back and spend my money on this. I really just used the relics available from the start, and even then, I really preferred the melee and jump attacks for most situations. The last main thing to spend your gems on are the shortcuts from the smuggler, and I'm really lost on how I feel about this. The basic idea is if you make it to a world, you can purchase the ability to start new runs from that world. The obvious positive from all this is it allows you to either practice later areas or just finish a tough to reach area altogether much easier. I don't think this is a bad thing, and I did utilize it from time to time, and anything to help people see and play more of the game is a thumbs up from me. The part that gets me though is I was stuck in this place between wanting to beat the game on one run from start to finish and just using shortcuts to make my day easier. On one hand, beating it from start to finish would feel much more satisfying to me and make me feel like I earned the victory. But on the other, it was really annoying just to get to later areas and not have the best accessories or health upgrades and just lose in the same place over and over again. I got stuck in this loop for a couple sit-downs where I did not really feel like I was getting any better at the game, and the lack of progression did not help me have fun in these times. I don't know, I just felt like there was something missing, but I can't quite say what, and opinions can differ here. I guess I would say the game felt more arcade-like, and the only progression I was making was becoming more familiar with the levels. I don't think you would feel that much different playing the game on a new save each time is what I'm trying to say, I guess. I decided to not use the shortcuts that I mentioned previously, and instead finish the game in one go, so I really could have done the same had this been an arcade cabinet and I was putting in a new quarter for each run. That's what I think, honestly. While lots of fun, Shovel Knight Dig feels more like an arcade game rather than a game I downloaded to my Switch. Not a bad thing, just not what I was wanting from the game. Sign me up though if this game gets a big arcade cabinet that I can go play on at a Dave & Buster's. Shovel Knight Dig is a game I really enjoyed playing for short periods at a time. The structure of the game makes for a great pick up and play experience, but I think it lacks that one more run feel that other popular roguelites have nailed down. The design of the NPCs, enemies, and bosses, alongside the music and levels, has the expected Shovel Knight charm, and in my opinion, the jump to the 16-bit art style gives just enough additional detail to confidently set Dig above the original game in this category. I don't know if this game will have the staying power of similar games, or even other Shovel Knight games, but I did enjoy my time with it. The arcadey fun of Shovel Knight Dig justifies its existence, but I was really hoping for just a bit more to hold me longer. Final score, 7.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Have you played Shovel Knight Dig? Any other of the Shovel Knight games? Let me know in the comments where this one landed for you. If you dug this review, consider leaving a like or subscribing. If you did not dig this review, or if you think my use of dig is not funny, I urge you to dig in the comments and tell me how much you did not dig it. Alright, anyways, thanks again for watching. More to come soon.